let me get rid of me. Let me pin you. Okay, I'm gonna pull this down here. All right, it's recorded. Platformer. So just a review from last time. We set up our dudes so that we can play, we can go forwards and backwards, and then jump. You can walk up to the door, nothing happens. If I pick up the little key, walk up to the door, then I can walk back and forth, and it'll close and go before me. Alright. So our next step, now that we have our little base pickup for our key and we have a door, we're going to make some platforms and we're going to make them move. So there's a couple ways to do this. If you're doing it in 3D and you're doing like weird movements, like S-shapes or something like that, it's usually easier to use a sequencer. We're not going to bother with that for this, simply because we don't need to. This is in 2D, so it's not really like anything crazy enough to work with it. But just be aware that like you can make a sequence, level sequence, and then keyframe how you want the platforms to move, and then just let that play the whole time instead of like programming it. Yeah.
Okay.
The way we're going to do it is we're going to actually program it to move around a little bit. Using vector map, very similar to how we made Norman. So we go ahead and right click, make a new blueprint class, actor, because again, we're not going to take possession of this, we just want it to be a thing that's in the level, so actor will be good. We'll call this moving platform underscore UV. And then we're going to pop inside here and set this up. So I'm going to set this up very similar to the door, actually. And theoretically, we could have made the door a type of moving platform because they're both going to have a box collision and a static mesh. And we're going to tell it to move a direction, essentially a certain amount. We're going to just not, and then I don't really worry about it too much. So we're going to make this separate just because. I'm going to go over here and add our box collision. This is going to be our root again, because I wrote this to stay with the thing. We're then going to make our static mesh. Go ahead and pick my cube. On Y and 50 on Z, 50 on X, and then we'll set this to 2. I might bump this up to 4. Actually, what do I have the door at? Doors are 2. Let's take it. All right, 2 good. So now I have my platform on my box. What I would also like to add to this is a movement component. And this is going to be in turn 2 movements. And the reason we're going to add this is because this will give us pretty much any type of behavior we like. I can have this pause on impact, so if it bumps into something, it stops. I can have this check to see if it is hitting stuff. I don't know why we're checking that. Behavior type, we can do one shot. We can do one shot reverse, which means we go there, come back, and then stop. which is what we'll be doing for things like elevators. We'll do one shot to go from where we are to a spot and then go back when we're done. This one, this one's more of a risky one. This is more like if you're gonna like have an elevator that takes you up and then comes back down. Okay, so loop reset is just because over and over again, and then ping pong is back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So loop reset is like when I get to the end, it's going to teleport back to the beginning. We're going to be using either ping pong or one shot for most of these. And then again, this is really just in place of using the timeline. And we can do the exact same thing with timeline without the math and all that stuff, but it is built in with Unreal, so we don't actually have to do that. We can just use this. So for this base one, I'm essentially going to add a check. That is with move, and then turn this on so that now, based on whether or not we should always move, we can set some stuff. So get this file. So by default, this is false. Get this.
I've got a question. All right, so it's not the sequencer, it's not a timeline. What is this again for the motion?
So this is the movement component. Similar to the character has its movement component.
Okay.
So like a component is just a piece, right? So it's like a subclass. Same thing with our static mesh component.
Mm-hmm.
Static mesh component is a static mesh object and then handles all its collision and rendering stuff. Same thing with the box component. It's handling the collision and defining the color. This is a movement component, so this handles the movement of whatever actor it's attached to.
Okay.
I want to find my variables, movement components. Might say forget this one and just do it the other way. Start the other way. Override. No. No. Interesting. Okay, so add control points. Yeah, no, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. I'm not going to this lecture. Look at that. We're gonna go ahead and control. We're just gonna do Delaware. That's I don't like that. So we're gonna keep the ship moving. Forget the movement component. We're just gonna do this with timeline.
Yeah, I like timeline too. Easy to understand.
Yeah, well, that one is essentially running the timeline for you, where we just give it the destinations and then send it. It's like I can't find the functions for it though, and it's being a little annoying, so I don't feel like wasting time on it right now. But it is built in, so you don't actually, if you don't want to like figure out the map or like how curves work.
Yeah. All right.
But
I like
I
that.
don't have the time or the inclination to figure out what its functions are at this
All
time.
right. Who here likes timeline?
Yeah, so we're
Yeah, we got somebody.
Um, we're gonna go ahead and call this movements. Go ahead and just add my track. 0 times 0. And 1 times 1. So it's for 1. And then select both of these, right click, and set this to auto, so that it gives me my nice little ease in and ease out, so it's not a snap. And I'll save, perfect. So back to my event graph here. So I don't actually have to attach this to anything. So let's just kind of just float over here on the side. The reason being is that this is actually its own component. It doesn't show up here, and it's the only one like this. I don't know why, but it does show up down here in the component section. So those components it goes away. So this is in fact a component. First thing I'm going to do is I want a couple of things. First of all, I need the actor's location so that I know where our starting point is. So we're going to go ahead and get this, save that. Actually, that's what people know what. Next, I'm going to have a direction or an offset, actually. I'll just offset. And again, vector. And this is going to be the direction and distance that I want to move. So the reason we picked a vector is because we are trying to decide, like, which direction and how much. So as of right now, it's not going to move at all. I'm going to go ahead and just set this to 200 on X as a default. And then I'm going to get the distance between these. So units. Now, the reason that we're getting, actually, you know what? That's stupid. I know what the distance is. All right. I need the length. That's what I need. I need length. So I know we're starting. I know how far we're moving, and then I need to adjust the movement of this based on that. So set play rates, and this is going to be a multiplier. So the way this works is the timeline is going to run for 1 second, and we're for over 1 second, it's going to go from beginning to end. Based on how far we're actually going, I'm going to adjust the play rates so that we move at a speed that I want, as opposed to just random. Because otherwise, for only 100 centimeters or like a meter, a second is fine. For going 20, not so much. So we're going to set up so we can adjust our play rate. And the way we're going to do that is length times, and we're just going to do 0.01, because this will bring us into meters, and then we're going to divide this by speed. And then I'm actually just going to make a note on this. Meters per second. So now we know that this is how fast we're going to be going based on that. I'm going to set this to 1. And then we'll set that to there. And there we go. So now this will move based on the movement speed we've decided on, not based on the timeline speed. The next part of this is going to be oops, not yet set. Not set yet.
Unreal's fault. Acting trouble. It's troublesome right now.
And I keep looking around. So based on this, I want to pick whether or not we're looping. So this is going to be set looping, and then we'll put that in there. So this is going to be basically, should we actually, you know what? That's not what I want to do. That's fine. I do still need this. I just need a branch instead. Start. If this is true, and then equal Enum. There we go. So if this is forwards, and should always move. Actually, let's do this one. That should always move. Now, you know what? This is some janky bullshit. Give me 1 second. We're going to do this. So instead of doing what I was going to do, we're going to actually make a curve asset. We're going to make 2, actually. So under miscellaneous, we're going to go to curve, and I'm going to pick curve float. Select. We're going to name this one. One way, underscore CA for curve asset, and then I'm going to actually just duplicate this, and this is going to be ping pong underscore curve asset. So this one we're going to set up the exact same way as the one we actually have in the timeline. Add a key here, click on it, set this one to 0 tab 0.
Can you refresh my memory? Like, all right, this looks like a timeline, but
this is, it's pretty much the same thing as the timeline. The timeline gives you the option to define the curve inside.
Yeah. Okay.
We are not we're not going to do that because that limits us to one curve.
Uh-huh.
actually want to have two different curves depending on what we're doing. So I'm going to,
Oh, flatten will do it.
I'm going to, so we're going to use this curve here, save that, and then same thing over here, except ping pong is going to go from 0 to 1 and then back to 0. And then, so now that we have those two assets saved, that exist, we're going to set flow curve, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick my ping pong curve, and track is new track 0. I'm going to go ahead and rename this to alpha.
Yes.
And then I'm also going to straight up just copy the name because I don't want to mess up the spelling. There we go. So now it's going to run this one instead. And I'm also going to set looping to true. Oops. And we're going to actually do this way instead. All right. So now what's going to happen is we're going to start out, we're going to find out how far we're moving. We're going to set our play rate. And then if it's supposed to always move, we're going to switch the curve and then tell it to loop, and then we'll start from the beginning. Otherwise, we're going to use the overlap and determine if we should tell it to play or not. But yeah, play in order reverse. So the way we're going to do this one is flip flop, assuming it is the correct thing. And again, we're going to make sure it's our accurate. So third person character. And then all we're going to have to do from here is basically just set the destination. So destination, try to stick on, why not? We're going to get the starting location, get the offset, add these together to get the destination. Actually, this one instead. A, B, alpha goes here, that goes there, and then now this should work. So we're going to test it real quick. Speed is 1 meter per second at the moment, and we are going a total of, I think, 2 meters. Yeah. So this should take about 2 seconds. We go ahead and that's all that one. throw this new platform in here. And then we'll just check should always move, and if I hit play, now it's always moving. And if I decide to not always move, actually, I messed this up. Need to go to here. Down slightly. Oh. That has a level, and you should not always move now. So I hit play. Come on.
I used to do these platforms with a timeline. Yours looks more advanced. Are there other features it does? You know, just like that, like you curves the alpha channel and just goes one position to the other position, or this thing mobile or something. Like, there's a lot of stuff involved with this. Or no, there's not.
Yeah, it's not really. This one's just much more dynamic. So if I wanted to, I can extend this. So instead of like just this, I can also. Oh, you know, let me turn the direction on. So yeah, now instead of that, I can also do this. So now, when I go to jump on it, it'll.
Oh, all right. I totally get it. Okay, it wasn't moving before. So when you're off it, it's still. That's kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, so it's essentially like it's just set up so that I can decide how I want this to actually go.
Okay.
And actually, we'll call this.
Yeah, elevator.
Like, yeah, but the speed of even though I just made it go much further than it was initially, it's
Yeah.
going fast. That's
Oh, cool.
the main part we're going.
Yeah, it's cool. See how cool that is? We have the ultimate platformer now, 2.5D.
Yeah, so yeah, I can set this to 3 and say it's gonna always move, and now. One thing I do need to do is check to see before we actually do this if this is always supposed to be moving or not. And if it is always moving, then I'm not going to do this. And actually, I have an even better idea, which will be get this and get is playing, so that we just can't do it in the middle. That'll be better. I like that one. Okay. So is playing false. So if this is already in the middle of moving the thing, it won't let you do it again. Now I circumvented my door.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
Does anybody have any questions about any part of this?
Yeah, during the cell, and then chat. This is for your grade. You'll love it anyway. It'll be fun. Let's see. No question.
We have some questions coming up. Let's see what anything in the chat would say. So we'll stay tuned for some questions because it's very fun, simple enough to pull off. So they're preparing some stuff.
You guys want to zoom into this way should be the way you work. Yeah, just go ahead and zoom in. George, you still have a question? No.
You. Okay, Evan has joined in. Do you want to show your screen, Evan? How much C++ do you know in terms of Unreal? Matt?
I mean, quite a decent bit.
Yeah.
So when you look at this, make sure you pull off of movement, because that's not the right. Okay, that's sort of blend space, which is an animation thing. So yeah, pull off movement, and then type in accelerate. And then you see how it says timeline, and then this will say the target is timeline component. So that's the right function.
So,
And then why did not get it?
One more thing, your multiplier right here is times 0. That's going to always be 0. Make sure it's 0.01. The 0.01. The reason being is by default in Unreal, the unit of measurement is centimeters, and we wanted to convert this to meters so that we can use our meter measurements to set the speed. And then I think you have those upside down too. Yeah, speed goes in the top of the divide, and then the result from the multiply goes in the bottom.
you can hold down Alt and click if you did want to delete, the lines. Yeah.
You can also hold down control and actually move lines from one pin to another.
Oh, that's cool.
Since you have like 5 or 6 going in one pin, it's much easier to do that. But yeah, just like that. Go around. Yeah, like this. Speed doesn't sign up. Alrighty, and then after that, you're setting your curve flow, telling us to loop, and then telling us to play, because we're not actually waiting for the overlap. So grab your movement reference again. Over here on the left. And then pull up there and type in set slope curve. Again, type in set looping. So
Pull up movement. Yeah.
and then set looping. Yep. And then pull up there one more time and play from start.
Hmm.
And then go ahead and attach those in a row, and then we're going to set looping to true, and we're going to assign our float stuff. Set looping to true. Very nice. And then go ahead and select your float curve right here. And then, so this is going to be the ping pong one, because we're going to go back and forth. Not one more. And then this curve is going to be from 0 to 0.5 to 1. So 0. Whoops, hold on, sorry. Yeah, 0.5, 0. Yeah. And select all of them, perfect. Yeah, that works. Go ahead and save, and then set this to be your curve we're using in the timeline. And then the last thing you need to do is right here where it says track name, you need to give it the track name. So that would be the name of the pin over here on the side. Yeah, move with that. So there, that's the name of the track. If you open up the timeline, you can like double click on the thing and copy it from there if you want, but just make sure it's got the exact same spelling and it's spaced and all that stuff. Yeah, nice. All right, and then last thing is make sure your sweep is turned on. And that looks like everything is good. Except for this part. His claim should be false. Like on this branch, you're checking if we are playing. False should be going to the flip flop, not true. So
They're looking at something.
yeah.
I'm sure you're swimming.
Christian's gonna share a screen, so we'll. All right. Whenever you're in.
Share your screen. That's still advertising. What's that? Be unreal. Still actually in general. That's right. That's what I thought. Still action. Yeah, me too. Person, know the winner, the verse, the winner contacted in.
That needs to be attached. One needs to be the tank column. This eyeball needs to be open. This eyeball needs to be open. This eyeball needs to be open. That way you have the option to play with them on the individual platform and not like.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, he's not able to open the eyeball.
You can also put the checkbox over here.
Yeah. Instance editable.
It's the exact same thing.
He's not able to do that.
Try not sharing your screen for a second. And
Okay.
see if it lets you play. I'm pretty sure there's a memory link. So the screen share.
Yeah.
That was it.
The first one was Columbus Day. Speak.
You know, it's exactly what I'm trying to. Like the, let's get it back on Zoom.
Yeah, it was Zoom. So he's able to turn all eyeballs, zoom
in a little bit. Let me see the rest of this. Your multiply down here is, also by 0. That needs to be by 0.01. Okay.
Okay. We have some confusion. First of all, the vector starting, should it be on eyeball or private?
So the starting is private.
Okay.
Even if you open that eyeball, on begin playing, we're going to set that value, so it's going to get erased.
Okay. All right.
So that one's just holding, like, wherever you put the level, we're just going to save that as our starting spot, and then your offset is how much we want to move away from that spot.
Okay.
In which direction.
So there's some confusion here. If you could look at certain area.
Yeah. So this small point on here is currently times 0. That needs to be 0.01.
Yep. 0.01. Yeah.
0 times anything is 0. So you will not go anywhere. And then, yeah, play rate of 0 means that we're just not running, essentially. All right, go ahead and zoom out a little more. All right, so this all looks probably correct. Is your looping turned on? Yes, good shit. Then down here to the left a little bit. New track 0 is the name of your track, right? Down here on this guy? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I mean, looks good. Fantastic.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I think,
No, make sure
Oh, okay.
it's not set to 0, by the way. If you're not set to 0, you're not going to.
Anything but 0. Like, places.
that's why 0.
That'll probably go on a diagonal, but they're small one. I assume that would be bad. Right.
That happens. No, I didn't hear that.
So, this one, now, what is all this set? This copy basic control C. It's make sure that's
Matt, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, what specs do it, like I did this, like what I think would be 0.5. What specs do you put on this curve?
So, first pin is 0, 0.
Yeah, got that.
Okay, looks like it's fine. This thing is 1 and 0.5 was correct, and then we need a 0 at 1.
Okay, all right.
So, from the beginning, go to the destination, come to the back. And then you can actually set the values up here.
Yeah.
0.
Oh, sorry.
Put
One in there, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, perfect.
And then, what's the other one?
This is done, right? Will we make another moving platform curve?
Yeah, I mean, you can make them one way if you want to. You don't actually have to, because that's what we have defined already in the timeline. So if we just don't override it, then it'll just do the one way.
Do we need any other curves?
Do we get any other curves, Matt?
No, you don't have to. You have to switch this one over to the
Ping pong?
pong.
All right. Yeah.
And then that looks like it should be fine. This is still length of 5 though. You want to set that to 1. So like it's like the actual timeline.
The moving.
Yeah.
This one? Well, this is.
Yeah, so in here, this one needs to be 0 to 1, and then it needs to be over 1 second inside the timeline itself.
Oh, not half a second? All right.
No. This thing here is fine.
Okay.
Don't forget the timeline.
Yeah, let's go timeline.
Currently, the timeline length is 5. We need to be 1.
Let's go back to
Otherwise, it's going to take 5 seconds to go where we're trying to go. So 1 second. And that'll just from that.
we got
Click on the timeline tab.
double click that. All right. So,
Then here at the top where it says length, this needs to be the 1.
all right. Okay. So it's 0, 0 to 1, 1.
Yep.
All right. Click on this one. Type in. Yeah, right there. Okay, and how many?
No, actually, that's 2. That's a 4. Yeah, that needs to be like down here. This says a 1 for the value. So
Okay, click on that. That'll be 0.4. So what you had?
no. It's 1. It was at 4. Yeah. There you go.
All right. What do you want for the length?
For what?
You know the length.
So length is 1. That way, when we multiply it, like we're essentially getting multiples of 1, so we can play with how long we want it to be. And then the time and the value go from 0 to 1, so it's 0% to 100%.
Okay.
So start with the destination. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
So it should work.
Right. They go ahead and come back to the graph and once they make sure the rest of it's good, but it should be. Just good.
But it's not moving, the platform's not moving when it sits on it.
Since he changed it,
It's
is your offset to set to something other than 0? And is your speed set to something other than 0?
yeah, it's quite opposite. And actually, I think I found offset, correct, stop share. Yeah, let's go back to. So, let's start. Yeah, all right. I'm on 1. Offset is on 111 for XYZ.
I mean, 1-1. So 1-1-1 will take you like towards the camera, kind of.
Oh,
But like it just still move you forward and like up a little bit. Also, it's like a weird like diagonal, like isometric direction.
yeah.
Yeah, so make sure the speed is not like make sure the speed is at least 1. Also,
So speed was 0.
yeah, so that means you're not gonna move.
Can you hear us pretty well? I'm not at the platform.
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's all right, just you know, sorry. It's still not working yet.
Go ahead and share your screen real quick. So, all right, so this stuff's all good. Speed's 1. You said offset. Oh, we clicked on offset? You said, yeah, okay. So you're going to move 1 centimeter forward, 1 centimeter up, and 1 centimeter towards the camera.
So what do we do?
Add like 2 zeros onto some of those.
Oh, like 100?
Yeah. So this is in centimeters.
Okay.
Leave a 0 on Y because that's towards the camera. We don't want to go towards the camera. Yeah, there you go. All right, final save and try it again real quick.
I'm not moving yet.
Still not moving?
No.
You're taking compile and save all stuff?
Yeah.
That's because the box has to be outside the mesh. So click on the box for me.
Oh.
Yeah. So over here in the extents, X is going to be 50, Y is going to be 200, and Z is going to be also 50. And then you need to move the stack mesh down a little bit so that it's not. Oh, my bad. Y is 100, but that's okay. But it doesn't actually matter.
Very good amount
Yeah,
of
so
time.
now go ahead and try it. And like now you should be able to overlap the box, so it should be able to trigger. Good work?
Yeah, it's moving. But it doesn't go back. It stays up and doesn't go back down. Out of curiosity.
So jump. So you leave the box, and then when you land again, it'll go back.
Share your screen. Oh, you are sharing it, right? Okay. Share your screen again. Like this one here. He's gonna share the output screen. Oh, do this, go to settings. And go to actually scalability, make it. All right, yeah, let's go back to it. We're changing the scalability of the engine to low. See what happens. Yeah. Yeah, it just goes up.
Right, so I'll jump on top of it. So every time you enter the box, it'll go one way, and then when you enter, leave and enter again, it'll go the other way.
Yeah. Cool. Interesting. Yeah, it's cool. What time is it, by the way?
6 after.
All right, yeah, we'll stop here. Thanks for going a little bit over.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, we'll see you in a week, or I'll talk to you before then, but we'll see you in a week.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks.
Everybody else, don't forget, if you have questions, you can hit me up on Discord. I will answer. So, see you later. Thank you.
Wow. I didn't read everything, so this one has to be in your art station. Or I guess on YouTube, you know. I will be grading it. So I want this to be graded. So, this should be exciting. No more. Yes. Super. Must be the timeline. That's this is the timeline. This guy. That's awesome. Yeah, that's good. No, I was just curious. Yeah, really should have. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna do that.
My phone is
Oh. Yes.